Be it resolved that the village clerk is hereby authorized to advertise for sealed bids for metered fuels, water meters, and bituminous concrete for the village's fiscal year beginning June 1st, 2010, and ending May 31st, 2011. Said bids shall be returnable May 19th, 2010, at 10 a.m., at which time the bids will be publicly opened and read aloud in Conference Room 1, Village Hall. The Village Board reserves the right to reject any and all bids and to accept the bid deemed most advantageous to the Village of Fredonia.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Be it resolved that permission is hereby granted to Festivals Fredonia Committee for the use of Barker Common, various parking spaces, and village streets for the following festivals or events. Victorian Dazzle, July 16th and 17th, 2010. Red, White, and Blues, September 10th and 11th, 2010. Harvest Moon Cemetery Tour, October 15th and 16th, 2010. Miracle on Main Street, December 4th, 2010.
Second, sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
A resolution adopting a budget for the fiscal year commencing June 1st, 2010 and ending May 31st, 2011, making appropriations for the conduct of village government and establishing the rates of compensation for officers and employees for such period. Whereas this board has met at the time and place specific in the notice of public hearing on the tentative budget and heard all persons desiring to be heard thereon. Now therefore be it resolved that a tentative budget as amended and revised and as attached hereto made part thereof is hereby adopted, and that several amounts stated in column titled adopted in Schedule 1A, 2A, 1F, 2F, 1G, 2G, and 3C, together with the amount set forth in Schedule C as required for the payment of principal and of interest on indebtedness by, and they are hereby are appropriated for the objects and the purpose specified, and the salaries and wages stated in Schedule 6 of such budget shall be and are hereby fixed in the amount shown therein, effective June 1st, 2010. Upon roll call, do you do that part?
Yes, we have a second.
Okay.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Trustee Siri.
Yes.
Trustee McKay.
Yes.
Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Trustee Brown.
Yes.
Trustee Brown.
Yay.
The budget is adopted 5-0.
A resolution levying the total taxes and other charges extended and levied against each parcel of real property shown on a roll prepared and verified by the assessors for 2010 through 2011 fiscal year. Be resolved that there will be levied and assessed against the real property of the Village of Fredonia the following sums for village government and other charges for the fiscal year 2010-2011 at a tax rate of $30.83 per thousand assessed valuation. Total taxes for current budget is $2,517,806.22. Delinquent water rents and charges $52,349.85. Delinquent sewer rents and charges $58,651.55. Relieved invoices of $2,536.77. And total real property taxes and other charges on the roll is $2,631,344.39. And be it further resolved that the receiver of the taxes is here and is hereby directed to levy assesses and appropriation upon the real property and personal property liable to, so bear with me, taxation in the Village of Fredonia, the tax rate of $30.83 per $1,000 of evaluation upon an assessed roll, and be it further resolved that the warrant to the tax receiver be executed and delivered to the tax receiver for the collection of unpaid taxes and assessment, water and sewer rentals outstanding and unpaid, together with interest and penalties as provided by law. And be it further resolved that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute a warrant to the receiver of taxes, which warrant shall also be endorsed by the board of trustees required by law. And be it further resolved that the village clerk is hereby authorized to deliver said warrant to the receiver of taxes required by law.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Another long one. So, whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia desires to amend Chapter 263 of the Code of the Village of Fredonia to add a new Article 4 for the purpose of providing for a home improvement tax exemption as permitted by Section 421-F of the Real Property Tax Law of the State of New York. And whereas to effectuate the above proposed local law number 1 of 2010 of the Village of Fredonia has been prepared and is in its final form. Now therefore be it resolved that the said proposed local law has been this date laid upon the desks of the members of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia, and a copy is on file in the office of the village clerk. And be it further resolved that a public hearing be held before this Board of Trustees on the 10th day of May 2010 at 7:30 p.m. at the Trustees Room, Village Hall, Fredonia, New York, to consider the question of enactment of the said proposed local law, which reads as follows. Proposed local law number 1 of 2010 of the Village of Fredonia, New York, Section 1. This local law shall be entitled Home Improvement Tax Exemption of the Village of Fredonia, New York. Section 2, Chapter 263 of the Code of the Village of Fredonia is hereby amended to add a new Article 4 to read as follows. Article 4, Home Improvement Tax Exemption. Residential buildings, which for the purpose of this article shall mean any building or structure designed and occupied exclusively for residential purposes by not more than 2 families that are reconstructed, altered or improved, shall be exempt from the taxation levied by the Village of Fredonia to increase in assessed value attributable to such reconstruction, alteration, or improvement to the extent provided hereinafter pursuant to 421-F of the New York State Real Property Tax Law. The length of said exemption shall be 8 years. Such exemption shall be computed in accordance with the following table. Year 1, which would be percentage of exemption base exempt from tax is 100%. Year 2 is 87.5. Year 3 is 75%. Year 4 is 62.5%. Year 5 is 50%. Year 6 is 37.5%. Year 7 is 25%, and year 8 is 12.5%. Which brings me on to 263-22, exemption base and market value defined. Number 8, or letter A. The exemption base shall be the increase in assessed value and determined in the initial year of the term of exemption, except as provided in subsections B of this section.